Think about how a company decides to launch a new snack or a new app or anything really. For decades, it's been this mix of art, science, and frankly, a whole lot of expensive guesswork. But what if you could just know what people wanted instantly? Well, today we're diving into a groundbreaking shift in market research, a move from these slow, biased human panels to incredibly fast and accurate predictions, all powered by AI.
But to really get why this is such a big deal, we first have to understand the old way of doing things, this massive guessing game that companies have been playing and paying for decades. That's right, billions, with a B. This is the kind of money companies around the world spend every single year on consumer research. And it's all a massive bet, right? It's all an attempt to get inside our heads and figure out the one thing that matters. Will you actually buy this? But here's the thing, the whole traditional method is just full of problems. You've got to recruit these costly human panels, run surveys that can take weeks, sometimes months. And even after all that time and money, the data you get back is, well, it's noisy. See, people have these known biases, like satisficing, which is just a fancy way of saying they give you the easiest answer, not the truest one. Or a positivity bias, where they just don't want to sound negative. So what you'll end up with is an expensive, slow, and kind of blurry picture of what people really think. So all of this got researchers thinking there has to be a better way. And they turned to one of the most powerful new tools out there, large language models, or LLMs. The big idea was to create what they called synthetic consumers, AI agents that could think and respond just like real people, but at a crazy scale and speed. The question was, could an AI really capture human opinion? Sounds like a perfect solution, doesn't it? Well, the first attempts hit a major and very robotic roadblock. It turns out when you just ask an AI for its opinion directly, you don't get human-like nuance. Nope, you get a machine's idea of an average answer. And this visual just says it all. When you ask a group of actual humans how likely they are to buy something on a scale of 1 to 5, you get this nice natural curve. Some people love it, some hate it, most are somewhere in the middle. But when you ask an LLM to just pick a number, you get that massive, totally unrealistic spike right in the middle. The AI is just playing it safe, saying neutral over and over, which gives you data that is completely useless. As the researchers behind a key 2025 paper put it, this direct approach just doesn't work. It fails to capture the real texture of human opinion. And that led to this crucial realization. The problem wasn't the AI's intelligence, it was the way they were asking the question. So that failure, that big spiky graph, actually pointed the way to a pretty brilliant breakthrough. The idea was, instead of forcing the AI to act like a number-crunching machine, what if you could encourage it to think more like a person? And they called it semantic similarity rating, or SSR. The idea is so simple, but it's really powerful. Stop asking the AI for a number. Instead, just ask for its opinion in plain English. Let it respond like a person would, and then use some clever math to map the meaning of its words onto that 1 to 5 scale. It's basically a shift from giving orders to, well, having a conversation. The process itself is actually pretty elegant. First, you just ask the AI for its thoughts. It might say something like, I'd probably grab this. The packaging looks cool, but I'm not totally sure about the price. Then, the system compares the meaning of that sentence to a set of predefined anchor statements, from I would definitely not buy this, all the way to I would definitely buy this. And what you get is a probability score, so it understands the AI's opinion might be, say, 70% of 4 and 30% of 3, capturing that nuance. Okay, so it's a really clever theory. But does this new conversational method actually work in the real world? To find out, researchers put it to the test against a massive data set. 57 different product surveys with over 9,300 human responses. And honestly, the results were pretty stunning. The result? The AI achieved 90% of what's called human reliability. Now, in simple terms, that means the AI's predictions were almost as consistent and reliable as if you'd just gone out and asked a whole new group of real people. It's that close to the real thing. And hey, remember that spiky, unnatural graph from before? Well, with this new method, the AI's response distributions achieved a similarity score of over 0.85 compared to real human data. In other words, the AI's collective opinion suddenly started to look almost identical to the crowd's. I mean, when you put them side by side like this, the difference is just night and day. The old method of asking for a direct rating is wildly inaccurate, But the new SSR method, the one that analyzes language, gets remarkably close to predicting the true human result. But there was one absolutely crucial ingredient to make all of this work: personas. See, you can't just ask a generic AI its opinion. You have to give it a role to play. By prompting the LLM with specific demographic details, like, you are a 35-year-old mother of two with an annual income of $60,000, the AI's responses became dramatically more accurate. It started mirroring how different segments of the actual population think. Okay, so this is all really cool in a research paper. But this breakthrough didn't just stay in the lab. It quickly became the engine for a whole new generation of real-world tools designed to bring this predictive power to, well, everyone. And one of the first is a platform called Propensity Guru. It basically takes this powerful SSR method and packages it up into an easy-to-use tool, letting anyone run these super sophisticated synthetic surveys in literally minutes, not months. And you're seeing it used across all sorts of industries. A software company can finally ask, will our customers actually pay for this new feature? A solo app developer can find out, is this a winning idea before I spend the next 6 months building it? And a consumer brand can finally get a real signal on which packaging design is going to make someone stop and grab it from a crowded shelf. So the value here is crystal clear, right? You're replacing the slow, expensive, kind of painful process with one that is instant, predictive, and affordable enough for even small startups. You're not just getting vague feedback anymore. You're getting a real purchase score that you can actually act on. So what does this all mean for the future of how we create and sell things? I mean, it's a pretty profound shift when you think about it. And this is really the big takeaway. We've basically bridged the gap between the raw, logical power of an AI and the nuanced, messy, and very human reality of what people want. And this ability to simulate opinion on demand, it just dramatically reduces the risk and the cost of bringing new ideas into the world, for everyone. And ultimately, this tech isn't just for huge corporations anymore. It's democratizing market insight, making it accessible to any creator, any founder, any inventor with an idea. Which really just leaves us with one fascinating thought to ponder. If you could take away the risk of guessing wrong, what bold new things would you be willing to create?